Hey everyone, Javon here, and today we're going to go through some of the controls in the control room. So this is going through basically the Stream Deck setup and how that all works in tandem with our video switcher. So let's get into it. So this is what we use to control our live services. So the Stream Deck XL, they come in different sizes. We have some in broadcast, a smaller unit. There's like a middle tier one that we don't have yet, and a large XL unit. So I'm gonna break it down real quickly. I've simplified it from my complicated setup to make it a little more easy for everyone else and myself to use it, because I get tripped upon this sometimes myself. So the first thing is this column here are different pages. We have this main page here that you load up on all the time, and then these are push to hold. So when you hold this, it takes you to another page, broadcast page. So these are all your broadcast sources. You can select your different sources by pressing the buttons, and you'll put them in the preview, and then you press and hold, let go, and then same thing here with this one. It's a sanctuary page, so you can also select your different sources here, and then you could tap the button again to get out of it. And then the last page is aux. These are all our clocks and stuff like that. So you can access all the clocks. You can start the worship timer, for example. You can see that in a preview there, or our announcement timer, sermon timer. You can start that. I think if you hit the button, it resets it. This is technically controlling the ProPresenter computer. And then you can hit kill clocks and it resets them all back to normal. We have our 9 a.m. clock reset, our 11 a.m. clock reset, 7 p.m. for Thursday nights. And then, yeah, just some other controls in here, but this is primarily what this is used for. And then the last thing is this main page. So we're going to go through this main page. You shouldn't really have to dig into those other pages, but that's if you need them, they're there. So the main page here, we have our cameras 1 through 7, and then on this we have 8 and 9 here. This will move around based on what cameras are plugged in. Typically, I'll just make the change here so that way I can physically get to what I need to get to. So you can just tap on them. If anything is green, it's in the preview, and then if anything is happening and it's live, it will turn red. All right, so if I go to camera 7 and I hit cut, it'll put it in the program, and then we can see that it's live. And then camera 3 is in the preview. We could put camera 1 or camera 2. The lights off are in the sanctuary, so it's really dark, but you get the gist. So I'm gonna put the Playback Mini, which is our Loop PC. This is where all our video sources come from in terms of videos, slides, and the pre-service loop. So we'll put that in the program. So that's live. This is pre-service. We're starting here. And then camera 7 is in the preview for the hosts. So we're going to go, right, service has started. And we're about to count down to the hosts. So the next thing you want to know is our transition. So we have 3 different transitions. We have fade, which is just like that. It's a simple fade back and forth. And then if you go here, this is a cut. This will cut instantly. And then the last thing is our sting, which is a transition that what we do is it'll do the wipe transition, and then you can use that to cycle back and forth between items. So we typically bookend our hosting with that. So we'll start transition into the hosting with the sting, and out of them, I think we'll go into the video with the sting as well. From the video, the countdown video, the service will start. Usually we'll fade from the video right into the service. And then at the end of service, when we're coming out of worship, or at the end, or the speaking, we'll use the sting to transition to the hosts, and then the sting again to get to the loop. So that's pretty much where we use those. Typically in the service, you're probably using your cut or your fade. When it comes to fade, you have some options in terms of times. You have 1 second, which is orange, which means it's live, and 2 seconds. So you can toggle between those, so you know you can choose to use it creatively should you want to. In like slower songs, you can use your fades and hit fade. That's a 1 second fade, and then just for example, that's a 2 second fade right there. Just like that. Cool. Moving on, we've done this row. We have camera 1, and we have 1 through 9. Playback, which is our Loop PC. We have our ProPresenter computer coming in from downstairs. Typically, you don't want to use that, but that's there should we be playing videos from down there as like a backup. We have FS Lyrics. So these 3 over here, these ones that are green, if I toggle through them, you can see they're all turned green. That's what's happening in the sanctuary, and that's why they're labeled with a different color. So this will give you full screen lyrics in the sanctuary. You guys can't see that on this computer, but the full screen lyrics are in the sanctuary right now. This would be your broadcast to the sanctuary, and then this is your graphics to the sanctuary. So that Loop PC, like Playback Mini, to the sanctuary. And so that's what those are. And then moving down now, keep moving this thing around. Moving down here, we have our sanctuary and our broadcast keyers. So this is what allows us to overlay things. So I'm going to put the hosting in the live in the preview, and I'll put camera 1, for example, over here. So in the sanctuary is purple, broadcast is blue. These buttons here don't actually do anything. They're just there for labels. So if I want to put the graphics on the broadcast, I can do that here. It is showing only in the broadcast, not in the sanctuary. If I want to put it in the sanctuary, I hit that button and it'll show up in the sanctuary, and I can hit that button to turn it off. And I could take it off with the broadcast. And then the other thing is Pro 7. So this is a lyric coming in from the ProPresenter computer. Same thing here. I could do that there, and then sanctuary separately. If I just want it in the sanctuary, I could turn that off and only show in the sanctuary. The sanctuary ones are instant. There is no fade with those. They just pop on. With the broadcast, there's a bit of a fade. So when you hit them, they'll turn red instantly. But when you turn them off, it takes a second for them to fade out. So that allows you to know your mix. So you don't have to guess which one is sanctuary, which one's broadcast. Just look at the color, and you know which row is affecting what destination. Right? And so that's basically it, right? So we can cut between our different cameras. You can hit cut, we can put 1, 2, we can jump around as much as we want. And then we want to put lyrics on, the song has started, and we'll cut from 1 to 4 to 2 to 7, whatever. That's how it kind of works. You take the lyrics off, we can hit the broadcast button, I missed it there, and then we'll keep going. And that's essentially how this all works. And then for the hosting, for example, you want your graphics, you can do that. This will also be where our lower third's coming from, the notes, the announcements, all that kind of stuff. The giving information that all comes in through the graphics PC. This is permitted just for lyrics and for sermon notes. And yeah, that's essentially a brief overview of the Stream Deck and how we use it in our live services to control a variety of different machines and devices. We're controlling 3 or 4 different ProPresenter instances, as well as our ATEM 2ME video switcher and our lighting console that's programmed in here in a hidden page somewhere. But that's how this all works in tandem with what we were running with our downstairs in the sanctuary.